One of the big differences between Watkins Glen and Infineon Raceway is the speed. The Glen is faster, and therefore we have seen some scary wrecks over the years. But perhaps one of the wildest was the crash involving David Reagan and David Reutimann last weekend. Rudy stopped by the hub to talk with Randy Pemberton about one heck of a ride.
Totally turn two, David Reutimann hard into the wall. He is upside down. Multi-car incident, a serious hit for David Reutimann.
As incredible as that last lap wreck was involving David Reutimann on the last lap at Watkins Glen, just as incredible is the fact that he was able to walk away from that wreck virtually unscathed. Now, the NASCAR officials have been here at Michael Waltrip Racing. They've gone over this race car along with the team, and here it sits. To talk more about the wreck and the integrity of this race car, particularly the cockpit, we're going to bring in Jay Fabian, the shop foreman here. Man, that was certainly incredible when you consider the velocity that he hit at. Let's just start up front here, Jay. This sort of did its job, did it not?
Yeah, it did its job exactly. You don't want things to be rigid and stiff and not have a give to it like this car does. So you can see the impact zone of the front where it gave way to the wall. All the way along the front clip, you can see everything folded and bent as it's supposed to absorb energy as it's crashing. So this car, as bad as it is, and it's destroyed, it has done exactly what it's supposed to do to protect David.
You okay, Pete? Talk to me. Come on, David, talk to us.
Every time he's ever had one of these wrecks, you hear it in Sean's voice. It almost brings more panic to you when you start hearing that and it hits home and everything slows down. It's a really surreal situation.
When I saw the replay, I thought it was pretty bad, but then, he gets out of the car and everything was fine. I mean, he's just a little banged up.
Come over here and take a look inside. Now, it's not necessarily unscathed inside, and you wouldn't expect it to, but this Randy LaJoie seat held up very, very well as the integrity inside here.
Exactly. The LaJoie seat done its job well. You can see everything is kind of bent and buckled, but as bad as this crash was, it's not too terrible looking in there. The floor pan has been compromised a little bit, but as violent as both impacts were, the left side, I mean, it's actually pretty good.
NASCAR and everybody has brought an excellent car, a safe car, and on top of NASCAR and NWR with all their safety features and the new Hans device, that's excellent. Everything stayed where it needed to be, seat-wise, belt-wise, his head and neck with the Hans, everything safety-wise was perfect.
The main thing is just looking at the car and seeing how well it did hold together, and everything stayed intact, even though it looks like a mess. He was still, the cockpit's still okay. I mean, there's some stuff that's out of place, but everything held up like it was supposed to.
What a wreck that was at Watkins Glen last week, so we're glad to see that you're back at the racetrack ready to go again. When you look back a week later and see the car and see all the stuff that went along with that crash, things happen so fast inside the race car. Do you ever sit back and after the fact and look at what was good, what was bad, and what you can improve on inside and outside of the car moving forward?
I think the biggest improvement for it's just not to hit anything that hard would be the biggest improvement I can make. But I mean, our cars are great. As you guys can see, the guys at MWR did a great job of building our cars, and they're very, very safe. So, you're never going to make them completely safe. All you can do is make them as safe as they are. And between all the stuff we had going on with the good Lord watching over us, it ended up working out okay. So Kim Butler always told me from Aaron's, if your day wasn't going all that well, you need to get on camera somehow, and I think we managed to do that.
Well, if the appliances you can get from Aaron's are as tough as that race car is, no question about it, that's the way you want to go. But talk about your season overall. Obviously, you got a big win. Chicago. You got places. This team can win. How disappointing has it been to be where you are? And what is the attitude of the team headed down the stretch?
I mean, my guys are awesome. I mean, they always keep a positive attitude, no matter how things are going. In this business, it's the peaks are short-lived sometimes, and we do have some good racetracks coming up for us. And it's been a disappointing season because we know we're much more capable of running well than what we're doing right now. So we're getting things turned around. I got a good group of guys, got great partners with Aaron's, Best Westerns, and Tums, and I feel like again we have some good racetracks coming up for us. I feel like we're able to break out of this slump we're in and maybe get some wins for the years over with.
Well, here on Race Day, we'd like to get the fans involved. on Twitter, and we had a Twitter question, and I'm sure you get asked this a lot. Coming off of a wreck like you had at Watkins Glen, how difficult is it to get back in the car the week after a crash like that, put that behind you, and focus on your job of getting around this racetrack?
You know, it's if you like, and everybody has a job, and you know everybody has to go to work and do things, and sometimes you just have a bad day at work, but that doesn't mean you can't get up and go to work the next day. And in the end, that's what it ended up happening, just a bad day at the office, so to speak. And the hardest part is actually getting in the car because you're so sore, you know, because things don't move as well. But once you get in the car, you go out there and you forget all about that stuff. And whether I'm too stupid to realize it or not, I love what I do, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Well, that's David Reutimann. Glad to see him back at the racetrack. Had a pretty good car in final practice here. This Aaron's car. Look for him to have a good run today here at Michigan. Johnny?